Hey everybody, it's me, your buddy Dave, the host of the Dark Stuff channel here on YouTube. Thank you so much for checking out my latest video. As always, it is much appreciated. Folks, in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing 3 great brand new releases. All have come out within the last month. They are all stellar, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, whatever you want. And we're going to talk about them right after this. For this video, I'm going to discuss 3 new releases that are all just buzzing and playing constantly on my stereo system. 2 single albums, and then 1 is a box set. So obviously when we're talking about contenders for future records or album of the year or whatever, we're not talking about the box set. We're just talking about the other 2. But I really wanted to talk about the box set because I have something to say on it. Okay, so the first record I'm going to be talking about is the brand new Kiss Dressed to Kill 50th Anniversary box set. Now look, I'm wearing my brand new Kiss hoodie, Dressed to Kill, has the image on the back. This thing is fire. I've been loving it. But I am going to tell you right now that I did not buy the actual physical box set. And the reason why I didn't buy the box set this year is because it costs over $400. $400 for 8 LP Blu-ray and T-shirt box set. That's just too pricey for me. I mean, with the economy the way that it is, I can't justify spending $400 on something. If you bought it on the CD, if you wanted the CD version, it's still $287.98. So $288 basically. Now I'm kind of hoping price will come down eventually. And maybe I'll be able to find one secondhand or something like that. But I decided that I'm still going to talk about the box set, even though I don't have it physically, because there is a lot of music on it. And it's really important, I think, that we talk about the music, because that's the real focus for me. And okay, this is my Dressed to Kill OG from the 70s. This is a real beat up from my old Cat Stinson that used to like to scratch K records. So here is my old, this is what the old one looked like. Stuff on the inside. Casablanca Records. And then this is basically what's on the back of my sweatshirt, the reverse image. I just think this whole artwork, this era, it was such a cool aesthetic. Here, I got the new Universal pressing, the reissue. And I love this look. Them dressing in the suits. They got the embossed Kiss logo on the cover of the record. Just white on this one for the repress. So it's not anything super special. Actually, the OG sounds better, to be totally honest. The physical box set looks very impressive. I mean, the pictures of what they're covering, and I mean, it would be something I would like, but honestly, $400 is just a little bit pricey, so it's difficult for me. Okay, the remix of the album and the versions in Atmos or whatever 5.1, that's completely unimpressive to me. So that's something that's from the box set that I don't really care about. I mean, in the box, it is impressive, but 100-page hardcover book with extensive liner notes by Ken Sharp, who's written books for them before. Dressed to Kill 1975 press kit, band bio, 3 black and white publicity photos, 5-inch cover sticker, marketing slick sheet, t-shirt iron-on, new band poster, 20 inches by 30 inches, Dressed to Kill gold promo poster, Japan print ad, Kobo concert hall, Kobo Reno concert hall, Kobo, I mean, just legendary stuff. I won't even bother reading all of it. It is a great deal of stuff, and that's mostly what you're paying for when you get the box set. And like I said, if I had the dough right now, I would absolutely be getting it. Okay, so the first disc is a 2025 remaster, 50th anniversary of Dressed to Kill. Dressed to Kill is Kiss's 3rd album from 1975. And of their first 3 records, I'd say it's my 3rd favorite. I love the first one, then Hotter Than Hell, then Dressed to Kill. Dressed to Kill sounds better than their first 2 albums, but I think the material was just a little bit lacking on that one. It does contain Rock and Roll All Nite, which was their signature song and their first big hit, but it was a live version that came out later that was the real hit off this one. So disc 1 is the album with a 2025 remaster. Disc 2 is where we have studio outtakes and demos and such. Of the 23 tracks that are new, studio demos, outtakes, whatever, there's 1 new song. Okay, it's a song called Mistake. It's a studio demo from 75. I've never heard of it. It's a Paul Stanley song. It's almost like a country song. And it was completely unique. Never heard of it before. The other real big thing is the song Burning Up with Fever, which is a 1975 demo from Gene Simmons. He later put the song on his solo album in 1978. So this is a very, very early version of the tune. It's similar. Melodically, it's there and everything, and the chorus is the same, but it is the first incarnation of this particular song. So if you take out those two songs, what you have left with is Anything for My Baby demo, Rock and Roll All Nite demo, the party version, which is just crowd noise added to it. Rock and Roll All Nite, alternate vocal take, room service, extended outtake, two-timer, alternate mix, Come On and Love Me, alternate mix, Anything for My Baby, alternate mix. So these alternate mixes, or the extended, instrumental extended outtake for Anything for My Baby, Rock and Roll All Nite, instrumental outtake. I mean, they're interesting from a historical perspective and to hear what they were doing in the studio, but you're not getting anything new. They literally had no outtakes, and that's kind of been well known because Kiss talks about when they went in to make that album, it was just a few months after Hotter Than Hell, and they didn't have enough material, and that is part of the reason why they went and dug into their vaults and played like She and Love Her All I Can, which were both originally done by their previous band, Wicked Lester. Much better as Kiss, of course, but I mean, that is why they were reaching back, because they just didn't have the material. So I'm not surprised that the outtakes are limited. But the real bonus for the box set with this music is the two live albums. Okay, every Kiss fan knows this is Kiss Alive, their 1975 breakthrough. It's, in my opinion, the best live album that's ever been released. It is amazing, start to finish. I love everything about it. But over the years, the album has gotten short shrift from critics and people who don't like the band, and they criticize this album as saying it's not really a live album, that the band basically went into the studio and recut the whole thing in the studio, just added crowd noise. And I didn't know any better, and it sounds like a live album to me, but I've always had that thing in my head of like, well, maybe they did go in and just mess with it or whatever. Maybe it's not really a live album. And well, and then they say everybody else in the 70s was doing this, and so what, you know? And I have to say that I didn't know what to think on that, but now that I've heard the two live albums that are in the box set, and these are the two shows that Alive was taken from. Alive was taken from July 20th, 1975 in Davenport, Iowa, okay? And it also was taken from May 16th, 1975 at Cobo Hall. And in the album, it doesn't say what song is what. It's just been common knowledge that those are the two shows that they based the album on. Now, I've heard Alive over 1,000 times. I know every single note. I know every single lick. I know every single solo. I know every single drum hit. I know every single everything. And now that I've heard the raw versions, which is what Eddie Kramer initially got in the studio, and then they decided they had to tweak it to fix it or whatever, I now see that it is just minimal tweaking. I mean, I'm sorry. If you listen to the Davenport, Iowa show in particular, that's the best one, and then the Cobo show, you will hear, I mean, you'll hear versions that sound exactly like they are on the Alive album, but maybe they flub a note or something. Or maybe Paul Stanley actually says what city they're in, or he'll be like, thank you, Davenport. On the album, they'll just say thank you, cut it off, okay? Or whatever he's talking about, Detroit, we love you, or whatever. You know, they obviously take that part out so it's not personalized to a certain city. They made it more general for everybody. But I'm going to say right now that I think the world owes Kiss an apology. Okay? Because for 50 years they've been talking this bullshit that Alive is not really a live album, that they went in and played it in the studio. And now that we know from hearing the original live recordings that were then used as the source material for Alive, that they were 100% playing, and this is a 100% live album. Okay, now everyone in the 70s and 80s, they did go in and overdub some. I mean, you can hear it in certain parts. I mean, look, it's a concert. They're running around. They're doing all this stuff. They got the crowd going. There's bombs. There's explosions. So if you're going dun, 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 and you fuck up a note, like it happens. I mean, I don't really think it's anything that can be helped. And I think there's been such an exaggeration basically on how much was done in the studio to sort of tweak the recordings to make it, you know, acceptable for whatever. I just think now that we've heard the raw tracks, I mean, when you hear, okay, I think the album Alive opens with Deuce, and I'm pretty sure it's the version from Davenport, Iowa at the RKO Orpheum Theater, because when you hear it, there's only like 1 second that sounds any different than the Alive album. Okay, same with Strutter. I think Strutter is also from Davenport. I can't go through every single one and say where I think it's from because it's kind of hard to say. I just think you hear the balance of these two shows, you see how great Kiss was as a live band, and there is no reason to think that there's anything suspect about this particular record. There just isn't. And I do believe that the world owes Kiss an apology, because this is now, can be said as, this is no different than any other live album that came out in the 70s and 80s. And if you think your favorite band didn't overdub or didn't try to, fix screw-ups or something, you're kidding yourself, okay? Every record did. Every record did. And now I feel a whole lot better about defending Kiss Alive, because I already thought it was the best. Now that I know it's not some studio bullshit, it's like, so whatever. So for me, the box set is revelatory because of the fact that I hear those live tracks. The studio outtakes are really nothing, to be honest. Like that's overhyped, and it's really not that much. But the other stuff that comes with the box does look cool. The sweatshirt is nice. It's high quality. It was shipped within 3 days of me ordering it. And I ordered some off-brand Ace Frehley sweatshirt right after Ace died, and I'm still waiting for that. I don't even know where it's coming from. It's somewhere in customs or some shit. So it pays to stick with the original stuff. I mean, this was pricey. This is a $70 hoodie. I've never paid this much for a hoodie in my entire fucking life. But since I didn't buy the box, and I've just been enjoying it on the streamers, I felt like, okay, I'll buy something. And it was right after Ace died, so I was feeling a little, sympathetic, or I don't know, whatever I was feeling. But anyways, that is the box set. My advice to all Kiss fans, if you've got the dough, buy the box set. It does look cool, okay? By the way, there is a third version of the set that is now sold out. It was a version with the hoodie and then a picture disc of the album, Just to Kill. And that was one setup, and it sold out. So you can't get it anyway. So the picture disc is over. But I would get one of those versions. If somehow I came into a bunch of money all of a sudden, I would go out and get it, because I think it'll still be around in a little while. But it is a really, really great collection, and not for the reasons that most people think. I mean, the remastered Just to Kill is great. It already sounded good. The outtakes are sort of meaningless, except for that song Mistake, which is brand new. And then it's really just those live recordings and how amazing they are, how great they sound, how awesome the band was. Peter was on fire in those two shows. He was killer. That was at the peak of him being as a drummer. Ace was great. I sort of thought it would be mostly Ace's mistakes that were corrected. Not true. He played really, really well on that album. It's a lot of vocal mistakes, because maybe you come away from the microphone or you bump your head against it or something like that. I mean, I know there's a famous video where Paul's rocking out and he bumps the microphone with his head and it falls over. And so then Gene walks over to the mic and starts singing in his place. That kind of stuff happens. You have to fix that. You can't let that go. But for anyone who has been made comments that Kiss Alive is not a real live album, you can eat it, buddy, because it absolutely is. And if you listen to this and you don't come to that conclusion, I mean, I'm sorry, you're just nuts. I mean, done. Okay, so the next album I'm going to talk about is the new album from the Mommyheads. It's called No Quietus. Mommyheads are a New York City progressive indie band that have been around since the late 80s. No Quietus is their 17th album. Now, I've been friendly with Adam Elk, who's the singer guitar player in the band, for a couple of years. I actually, although they don't remember this, they did stay at my house in the 90s one time when they were on tour in like 94, 95 or something. The band stayed at my apartment one night when they played in Wisconsin. But so let's say we've been friends for a couple of years, and so every year when the Mommyheads are about to put a new album out, because they put one out every single year, they send a little goodie package with the new CD and then some type of like a coffee mug here. This was for the Mommyheads. Okay, and I got a different one for Genius Killer. This is an album from a couple years ago. And I have another one too, but I broke the handle off on accident. And so it's sitting upstairs with super glue, and I'm just going to have to get it together. I've also gotten mouse pads from them and stuff. So every year they send me a little package with the new album and some stuff. And I have to tell you that when I opened the package and I pulled this out, I thought they made a mistake. Okay? The album is on CD or digital. It's not on vinyl yet, as far as I know. This album, I thought they made a mistake, or they were reissuing their old album. Because when I pulled this out, I was like, well, this is the album they did last year. Okay, it's not. It was this one. But you can see they're two variations on the same theme. This was One Eyed Band from last year. This is No Quietus from this year. So the dark and the light, and it's basically the same image. And this is No Quietus, and the word quietus means, a final settlement as of a debt, removal from activity, especially death, something that quiets. It's basically release from life, a settlement of debt or obligation, or anything that ends or suppresses something. So this is the end of suppression, according to them. And although you would think it's okay, so no death, it's a more positive vibe. It's a lighter image on the cover. I don't know. I feel that sometimes with the lyrics, it's hard to say. As you know, I don't want to interpret it, and I'm not going to. Okay. So with this, the band's 17th studio album, which is now available on their Bandcamp page. You can go to their website, mommyheads.com, and order it there. And as of November 7th, it will be available for streaming. But they did put it out on Bandcamp for about a month first to get people to actually purchase it or whatever. And if they do make vinyl, and they've made vinyl in the past, it'll be coming out later. But right now, this is only on CD or digital. So over the years, I have seen the Mommyheads get glowing reviews and get written about in a lot of prog rock websites, prog rock YouTube channels. Just basically, if you're a fan of prog, you somehow like the Mommyheads, and they all hear something in the Mommyheads that sounds prog to them, and they like it. I'm not a huge prog guy, I'll be honest. A couple of bands here and there, but I'm not a massive prog guy. But when I put on the album for the first time, and I heard the first song, Triumph and Crash, and it has this sort of this synthy kind of intro, and I'm like, okay, for the first time, I'm hearing the prog. I heard it. I was like, I get what people are saying. Now, I don't think it's definitely not a prog album in terms of like 8-minute songs with huge solos and that kind of stuff. But it is progressive in the fact that these guys are amazing musicians. They change time signature. They change this. They change that. They're doing really complicated stuff musically, but it comes off to the casual listener, like such as myself, as just enjoyable indie pop. They used to get compared a lot to XTC more than anyone. And I always thought they were kind of like an American XTC to a certain degree. Lyrically, these songs are some of their best. Triumph and Crash is sort of like the story of the Mommyheads in a little bit, where he talks about how he'd rather maintain his integrity than reach like critical mass. And that is sort of the way Mommyheads kind of work. They gave up on that searching for the brass ring, and they just settled down to this is where we are now. We're going to be true to ourselves and not try to pretend to be something else that would maybe get us a little bit further along. The Mommyheads are a completely self-sustaining band. They're from New York. And like I said, they're older guys. They're older than I am by at least a year or two, I would think. And at this point, they're satisfied with their small core group of fans, okay, who can sell enough copies of their album, either on CD or digitally from Bandcamp, that they make enough money to pay for recording costs for next time, for mastering, for artwork and stuff, and then they can just keep doing it. It's a self-sustaining thing. They don't need anything else. They do play shows. They've played occasionally in the United States in limited doses. They go to Europe a lot. Sweden is a big country for them. But I guess my thing is, I think if you're looking for incredibly intelligent music, great playing, great lyrics, great vocals, instrumental parts, all of them are great. Every single song on this is great. I personally like Black Veins. I like I'm Your Apocalypse. I mentioned Triumph and Crash already. Race Car Brain. The Beast is Back. Great video for that one, too. And then the song at the end, It's Only Life. Well, first of all, I would say Strong. Strong is the one that gets me a little bit emotionally. That's a great tune. And then the last one, It's Only Life, maybe giving the rest of the message for the rest of the album or something like that. It's hard to say, but God, this is a beautiful record, and I sing the praises of the Mommyheads every single time, and I don't know if it's reaching people or anyone cares, but I'm just going to always be on record. This will for sure be in the top 10, like without question. There's no doubt about it. Every single Mommyheads record makes my top 20, top 10, whatever. This will be in the top 10. I listen to this over and over and over. Glad it's finally hitting the streamers. So for those of you cheapskates who won't buy the album, that'll only stream it, now you can hear how great this album is too. So the other album we're talking about today is the Mommyheads No Quietus, the band's 17th album. Okay, next up, Amazing record from a relatively new band from Dublin, Ireland called Sprints. This is their second album. It's called All That Is Over. It has just come out. In the United States, it's released on the Sub Pop label, and that's new for them. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. But this album has been on my turntable and in my CD player and in my phone, whatever. I've been playing this constantly. I love it. It's great, aggressive guitar rock, garage rock maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's sort of hard to say exactly what there's some type of punk or post-punk. Okay, the band is a four-piece comprised of Carla Chubb, Sam McCann, Jack Callan, and Zach Stevenson. They are the four guys. Now, I first got into this band sort of towards the end of the life cycle of their previous album, Letter to Self. Letter to Self was their debut. It was on a label called City Slang in the UK. And the reason I even checked it out was because if you follow this channel, you know that last year I was super obsessed with the band King Hannah. Okay, I loved it. It was my number one album of the year. I didn't even know who they were until that record, and then I became completely obsessed. And so I wanted to find out a way to contact them that wasn't social media, so just a record label or whatever. And I went on to the City Slang website, and the big record that they were pushing at that moment was from Sprints, from Letter to Self. And I just figured, you know what? Let's give it a try. Let's see what it's like, because I loved that other one so much. And this is another band on their label from Europe that I didn't know. I played it, loved it, fell in love with it. And then as soon as I started talking about it, I was like, where's this Sprints record been all my fucking life? And then all these people on Facebook and other social media were like, yeah, it's been out like a year, dude. Where have you been? Well, sorry. I mean, I did not know. I did not know. So I loved the album, and I was already in major anticipation for this new record. Very, very excited. And then I heard they signed on to Sub Pop, which is great, because I have a radio show, as most people know, the New Day Rising show, and I get along really well with Sub Pop, and I play a lot of their stuff because they have amazing bands, still going all the way back to Nirvana and Mudhoney in the 80s and Tad and whatever, and all the way through to now with Sprints. Now, the main thing for me, now that I know that I love this band, 2 albums in a row that I love, is now I have to see this band live. Okay? And with the album, when they sent it to me, it had a series of tour dates that start at the end of January 2026, run through the middle of February. That's short, okay? Guys, America's a big place, okay? And you cannot tour the United States in 2 weeks. So, what I'm hoping is, this is just preliminary to get the album out. They do a couple of shows. They play, Chicago, LA, New York, Boston, whatever. And then they'll come back in the summer and hit like the festivals and maybe hit more cities, more markets, maybe some place like Omaha. I mean, I would love to see them at the Reverb or any place in this area. I would be there with bells on. So the first tour, as we can see, it's Minneapolis, Chicago, Detroit, Toronto, Boston, New York, D.C., Philly, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, and Seattle. The closest to me is that first show, January 28th in Minneapolis. It's about 5 to 6 hours of a drive. Ordinarily, I'd be like, yeah, I'm doing it. Okay, it's not that far. I have friends in Minneapolis. But the reason I'm a little bit hesitant is because it's January 28th. It's in the middle of winter, and making plans to have to drive for 5 or 6 hours in the winter is a little bit rough. You could get stuck and you could get stranded or whatever. And also, I'm going to Madison, Wisconsin 2 weeks before that for that Joey song thing. So that's why I'm really hoping that Sprints comes back for another song, another turn. On a tour. So let's talk about this new record. Let's show you. Here's the vinyl. We've got a great picture of the band there. The lyrics, nice and clear, easy to read. It's typeface. It's not handwritten or something like some of these albums now are getting. It's like I can't read that shit. I'm sorry. There's not a bad song on the record. I mean, there's fast, there's slow, there's some more brooding stuff. But when it gets really aggressive, when you're talking about like Descartes or Need or some of these other songs that just really get revved up, those are my favorite. But I also like songs like that slow down a little bit, like Beg, Better, I would say, or I think To the Bone was the slower one or whatever. But just great songs. And I mean, I don't know what the lyrics are about. Again, kind of hard to say. I mean, I can guess about Need because it's sort of sexual, but a lot of the rest of them the words sound cool together. Whether they're actually conveying something more than that, I don't know. Okay, but I play this constantly. This is a band with a major future, in my opinion, and my goal for 2026 is to see them live. Whether it is that Minneapolis show, which I think it's about a 20% chance I make it, or at some other time for a festival, because that's a band that I have to see. I mean, they just seem too great. Well, wrapping it up here, these are my 3 recommendations. I mean, I would say the Kiss Dress to Kill 50th anniversary box set is great if you have a spare $400 for that other stuff. But assuming you don't, okay, it is available streaming, and maybe there'll be a limit, some alternate versions or something coming out. But it is revelatory hearing those live things, and based on the 50 years of bullshit that I've been hearing about how Alive isn't really a live album. Now, not only is it my favorite live album, but it buries everything else. It's not even close. I mean, Alive is the greatest live album of all time, and these outtakes or the raw tracks in the box set prove it. Number 2, the Mommyheads, of course, with No Quietus. Another brilliant album. It's their 17th. I would say it's their 6th or 7th in a row that is damn near perfect. I mean, it's hard to find a flaw with these guys. I mean, brilliant musicianship. I know I was throwing out the word prog, and if you're not a prog fan, don't let that hold you back, okay? Because if you like XTC, that's kind of progressive indie pop to a certain degree. If you're a purist, going back to the Peter Gabriel days with Genesis or whatever, maybe you don't consider this prog. I really don't know. I'm not a prog person, so I can't really tell you definitively. And finally, All That Is Over, the brand new album from Sprints. Fantastic new band from Dublin. I would make one suggestion, guys. If you ever see this video, put your name bigger. Okay, this is a thing. I do this with every band, mostly from Europe and Australia and places like that, where the aesthetic is not putting your band name big and putting it small. I mean, is the band called All That Is Over? No, it's called Sprints. And Sprints should be as big as this. It should be huge. All That Is Over should be smaller. The image itself, I don't really know what it is. It's cool, but I don't get it. But that's my only suggestion, guys. Make sure you play Omaha, Nebraska, right in the exact middle of the United States. And 2, put your name bigger on your next album. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.